we're gonna talk about this restaurant life. So let's get into it tonight. It's a blessing as well as strife. So grab your fork and get your knife, 'cause there's so much more to this restaurant life. Yeah, there's so much more to this restaurant life. So much more to this restaurant life. Let's go! All right, we are here with Chef Tim McCarty, Rochester Country Club Executive Chef. New position you just got.
Yep. Thanks. I'm super excited to be here.
Great to have you here, man.
Been at the country club since July 5th. So it's back into the club after being private chef for 24 years, and then COVID hit, and that was a year I hope to forget.
Yes.
Yeah, super excited being back at a country club, and have just a stellar team, of cooks, and my two sous chefs are two of the best in Rochester, and I was thinking when I was driving down here of where I've come from and how long it's taken to get to this point, just different management styles as the years have evolved.
Yes.
And I'm not the micromanager. I told them when I walked in, I go, this isn't the Tim show. This is me, hired you.
Yep.
I'm giving you good pay to do your job. Yep. And so I feel I've really eased the reins back on them and let the horses run. And
less brigade, less militant style, more and being part of what's happening, but being the leader.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yep.
And as any good chef, you're only as good as my weakest cook.
Amen.
So you're spending some time with them, and I told all the cooks, I go, here's the deal. I want to make you the best cook you want to be. So you let me know what that is, and we just kind of work with them. But I brought in, you're one of my cooks. I expect you, just like my sous chefs, do your job.
Yep.
And here's a bonus that I give you. You bring me a special. We work together, make sure it's that good. Mm-hmm. And then put their name on it as it goes out as a weekly feature or whatever. So it says, Cullen's, beef dip sandwich or whatever it might be.
That sense of ownership.
And, it's things I can tell you that, the membership really likes it. But when they ask to meet them,
yes.
I almost have to open the door up for them to get back in the kitchen. But, all the other cooks see that, and then all of a sudden, they all want to be that. And
it's something to go towards. Where it gives them you have the expectations, right? I have to come, I have to show up, I have to do my job, I have to have my responsibilities within my station. But there's also something beyond that.
Yep.
And you give
you take that pride. So I come to work, and I'm going to tell you a little story. So
yeah.
A Sunday morning, I come to work. I'm there at 5 to 8. They're all scheduled to be there at 8 o'clock. Mm-hmm. I was the last one there.
Awesome.
You're
still early, but they were there before you.
Yeah, they were there.
Yeah.
So I come in, they got all the equipment turned on, and they're all ready to go.
Yep.
And I just go. I got a big warm heart feel out of that, because that I go. I've been at other places where you're calling and begging anybody to come in on a Sunday morning to fill the shifts that need to be done. So,
in my experience too, Sunday's the hardest.
Yeah, it is.
We're conditioned from a young age to not work on Sundays.
Yeah, so I've done a lot of different things over the years. I think the only two styles or places that I really haven't worked, I've never worked in a school or a college. Mm-hmm.
but everything else is you've
Everything
dabbled.
else under the umbrella.
Just
you
from
know?
going over the things that we discussed before the podcast,
Yep.
as far as the at the Heritage House and like those bigger, nights of 1,500 covers, 1,700 covers of trying to expedite volume is
Yeah.
such a new thing for me. As far as I have a catering business now.
I guess I haven't done like stadiums,
Sure.
that style of food, but
It's
you
still-
know, when you look at all of it, I pieced it all together to make who I am.
Yes. What you were saying as far as having where you are now at your country club, to have them say, hey, listen, this is what this special could be. And I have all this experience to help you in your vision for this one dish.
Yep.
To make sure that it's to the standard
Yep.
that we're going to serve, but it also has something that you could take from all this knowledge of experience that I have and put it on there to share with you.
Yep.
You know?
So it's a lot of fun. You get some young cooks, and they were playing around with a special, and he come walking up, and his head's down, and I just knew right away he wasn't happy with the dish.
Sure.
So he sets it down, and so I try it, and it's like, so what'd you do? Just walk me through what you did. He told me this, and this, and it's like, well, here's how we fix that.
Yes.
Here's how we fix this. And I gave him some guidance and some, this is how you do those things. And about an hour later, he comes back. I mean, his chest puffed out, his head's up. He sets the dish down on the table, and then all of a sudden you're going, I go, you like that dish, huh? He goes, yeah. He goes, I took all the things, and this is, and go over and taste it. I go, that's what I'm talking about.
And that's being a good director, man.
Yeah.
That's like as much satisfying for you as it is for him.
Oh, it is. I mean, being that I tell them all it's not the Tim show, it really isn't, because I don't. 25 years ago, maybe it was.
Yep.
But now at this point in my career, I'm not the young guy in the kitchen anymore. I was the young, 23-year-old sous chef at a brand new hotel, to a 28-year-old executive chef at the first time I was at a country club, little different expectations.
Right.
And, and then over
And there's different expectations from yourself on yourself, because you want to set a mark. You want to come in and show.
When I took over, as 28 at the Austin Country Club, I had a young family, and, and I was catching quite a bit of heat from my wife because I was working a lot. I go,
Yes.
this is my first exec position. It's not. I'm not a cook anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I have big responsibilities, not only to the club but to myself, that I
Yes.
can do this job.
Yes.
And not just do it, but do it right.
At a high level.
Clubs are tough because you have everybody has their ownership into it, so they have a little different view on
Yeah.
it than a regular restaurant.
And a little different influence.
And it's just, as you're going through, you're trying to set yourself to the next level, and you keep pushing the bar up, and you keep pushing your cooks up, and as it all is. So, so it's been quite the journey, to get to this, and
I remember the first time I met you was at the Pork Producers Pork Challenge, and I was there with my brother Mike, and we were having a ball, and we were in the back BSing and stuff, and then we won People's Choice, and you came up to me and genuinely were like, I've been doing this a long time. This event, means a lot to these people, means a lot to me. I care. That's the one you want to win.
Yeah.
You were like, this is, and I felt that from you, that vibe. I was just like,
well, it's one thing to make 3 judges happy.
Yes.
You have a room of 550, and I've won that several times.
Yep.
As the overall winner, I've gotten 5th or 2nd place, and I think 5 or 6 times, and a 3rd, but I think I got 2 or 3 People's Choice wins in there too,
Right.
and and they hang right next to my 2 wins because it's
It means
Oh, it
means
is.
just as
It's
much.
huge.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
huge.
And then when you said that, and I was thinking about it, and like, I was emotional because I was so thankful, just to be invited, and just to be a part of it. And then when they called our name, it was like, man, that was.
Yeah, it's so that's one of my big feathers in my cap. I started doing. I think the first year I did the Taste of Elegance was '98.
Taste of Elegance, yes, that's
Yep,
what it was.
and I got 3rd place that first year, and I mean I was just
Hooked.
hooked. I mean they set that hook, and it went deep, and
Yeah, man.
but I've done the contest. I've judged multiple contests, it's all from me
Yep.
getting in there, getting my face in front of all these pork producers, and that whole industry is like the culinary industry. I mean, they are so passionate about what they do,
They really
and
are.
and the pride that they carry in the product that they're producing, and I finally won the Taste of Elegance in Minnesota in 2001. And then then the next year you judge, and and then I got invited out to judge in South Dakota, and and then all of a sudden the National Pork Board was noticing the things that I was doing. So one of my biggest feathers in my cap,
man.
is I got selected in 2006 as a celebrated chef through the National Pork Board.
So cool.
Which opened up. They don't do that program anymore, but at the time they were going through picking 5 chefs from across the country to make them spokespersons, representatives for the pork board. So we flew out to New York and cooked with some Bon Appetit and
Yes.
Food and Wine, and you were cooking with the editors of the magazine.
Very cool.
And then we came back and cooked 2 days in Chicago again with chef and all these different, I think we cooked with 20-some food magazine editors, and got to meet some great chefs.
Yep.
So
Network.
Melissa Kelly's out in Maine. She has Primos, and she's stellar. I mean,
Nice.
she's only 2-time female James Beard winner.
Wow.
So what I've learned over the years, is you go to these contests, you do these things, you make your network of chef friends really good.
Right.
I mean,
You build that. It's almost a part of your brand that you build.
and all that you're trying to do is, they say keeping up with the Joneses. There is that.
Yes.
I mean, I want to make sure that I keep evolving. I keep pushing myself. I mean, because it's easy. A joke I always tell is, it's easy to set back and say, "Yep,
I made it.
I'm that good."
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, right.
You're as good as your last dish you made, but food changes.
Yeah.
It changes daily, and if you're not staying on that wave, and I always say you want to be on the front side of the wave so you can see where you're going.
Yes.
You can kind of plan a course. So you don't. I want to go when I finish. I want that wave to push me up on a sandy beach.
Yes.
And I just want to step off the surfboard and go, ta-da! I don't want to crash into the rocks and go out that way.
Amen.
So I mean, when you're doing all these things, you're really pushing the bar up. You're teaching the next sous chef to take your job. I'm teaching the next cook to be the next sous chef to take his job, or to, if they come to me and say, "Hey chef, I got this opportunity to go to whatever restaurant or club or whatever," you go, "I got you.
Yeah.
I know that guy.
Yep.
I'll call
How
him.
can I help?
I'll call him
How
personally.
can I help you take that
Yep.
next step? Absolutely.
I'll call him personally and say,
Yeah.
"You'd be a fool not to hire this
Yes.
cook."
Oh man, that's one thing that I've noticed just doing this and being in charge and leader. Like when they leave, you want them to be better,
Oh, yeah.
and you want them to represent where they're coming from and build their network and go and like I was a part of that.
Yep.
I helped with that.
And they reference back.
Yes.
You know, they go, God, I had a great experience working with Matt down there. You learn a ton, you know, and they send people.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's a revolving door in the culinary, but you know, I have one thing that I own outright. That's my name and reputation.
Yep.
You know, and I do everything I can to protect that. You know,
Amen.
I mean, you don't want to be in the newspaper for bad PR.
Yes.
You know, you don't want to. The culinary field is massive, but it's also very small, and you don't want to have the reputation of being that guy.
Amen.
You know, so you know, I've done a lot of things, worked in some great places, you know, and always worked at building that next level. You know, how do we get there? You know, and you know, when I was at the foundation house for 24 years, I mean, it was private. It was, you know, so I wasn't in the food scene as much as, you know, when you're in a restaurant that's open to the public, or you're at a club, or
Sure.
you're being showcased a lot more. But the clientele I had there was very food educated, you know. So when
they know what's good,
oh yeah, when
you got to bring the goods.
They're eating around the world at
Yes.
these things. We did a very Midwestern fare, but I was always looking for the next thing. So that's where contests were.
you're
They're a
right.
huge part of my.
Get the idea machine going.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yep.
because I'm always looking for that. You
Yep.
know,
Get the
And,
creative juice.
so-
Next step, innovation.
You know, I'm going to Texas here in 2 weeks to do a paella challenge.
Paella?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, I mean, so one of my friends from the '06 Celebrated Chef Tour, Johnny Hernandez, does this paella challenge, and I think it's my 9th time going down doing it. So,
Awesome.
you know, the Minnesota boy going down and competing against, well, Susan Trilling comes up from Oaxaca, Mexico.
Wow.
And, I mean, there's all these big players that come and play, and you know, just I go down and make good food and have I probably have as many chef friends in San Antonio as I do in Minneapolis.
Man, it's such a cool subculture.
and
just
and to see it grow down there.
Yeah.
The first year I went to at the Pearl Brewery, it was the Culinary Institute's there,
okay.
and they had the old brewery, and it was pretty dilapidated in that area. And now it is huge. I mean, there's 6 restaurants I can throw a stone to it that are 6 of the best chefs in San Antonio are all right there.
That's awesome.
And if I was younger and I could throw further, I could hit the other 4, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, so you go down, it's a destination. You go down there, and yeah, they're all competing against each other on one side, but they all know why they're there.
Absolutely. It's a
And-
restaurant town.
Yep, and you
Bring 'em
go
in.
there and you go, well, where are you going to go? Well, I'll go to, you know, I'm going to go to Cure tonight. Well, the line's out the door. Well, okay, I'll go to Southerly, or I'll go to, you know, LaGloria, or I'll, you know,
Yep.
whatever, but they're all right there. And that's what, you know,
And they choose to be.
Oh.
It's not like going to the mall and there's the food court, you know, and I guess there's something to eat, you know.
Yeah.
And that's
They-
the difference. When people, like, you know, you go to a restaurant town like that, it's like, hey, these people all know what they're doing. They all want to be here and do their thing. And it's really cool when you see it.
and it went from a part of town that you might not have wanted to hang out in, you know, 10 years ago.
Sure.
And now it's everybody wants to hang out
Yeah.
there. You know, they took the old brewery and turned it into a Kipton hotel. It's the high end stuff, but they left the old, you know, brew barrels and
There you
all
go.
this stuff
Yeah.
in there that they just turned it into part of the hotel. So
Yep.
I've done a cooking demo there, and
Right
you
on.
know, and so I'm always trying to find where can Tim play next.
Yes.
You know, or when you go back, they're like, hey, you know, chef from Minnesota's back. You
Yes.
know, and you know, so it's COVID hopefully didn't ruin too much of that or get people's memories to forget. But the first year I was down there, I got a certified master chef on one side of me. I got John Bash on the other side of me and his entourage, you know. There's 15 competing. I'd made one paella in my entire life before I went down there. And I ended up 5th. You know, I was like, I can hang my head pretty
man.
high on that, you
Right
know. And
on.
my buddy that's putting it, you know, Johnny's putting it on, he goes, wow. He goes,
Yeah.
I told you, I'm just coming down to make good food.
Yep. Be a part of it.
It's just been, you know, I've made so many friends, and, you know, and then World Food Championship, I got involved into that. And, you know, I got, you know, literally chef friends all over the country, but Mexico and a friend in Italy. And, you know, I mean, you just start building, but, you know, you're just trying to be, always stay
ahead of it.
Stay on front side so you don't get run over or get
man.
left behind.
Yeah.
You know, and they go, oh, whatever happened to Tim? Well, it's like, well, it's, you know.
I think a lot of that happened with COVID hitting, of, you know, the restaurants that are still around and the chefs that are still doing it. That was their mindset, you know. And the ones that maybe were going to be gone in a year or two anyway,
Yep.
it just expedited that.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like, well, we're just going to make that quick. And that's hard to see. It's tough to watch.
It is. Because, you know, there's, you know, you watch some of them grow, and then some of them, you know, they had a really cool concept, but they just couldn't see beyond that.
Yep.
To, well, how do I do this? You know,
How do I take that next step?
yeah.
How do I get ahead of it?
You know, so it's yeah, there's all kinds of fun stuff going on, but sometimes you have to look for it. You know, it doesn't always knock on the door. Sometimes it does. So, and the other thing, so back into the pork board, doing the things that I've done with them. Well, I've been privileged to do, I think, 8 or 10 segments on Twin Cities Live.
Very cool.
You know, because they want somebody that can talk about pork and teach people about pork, and, you know, from that and doing countless demonstrations and you know, at food shows or whatever it may be, just, you know, I like talking about food and teaching
it's your
people,
passion.
and
It comes across
and
right
and,
away.
yeah, you know, and so the first year I went down to World Food down in Alabama, I met a couple down there.
Is it always held in Alabama?
No,
switch it up?
the first 3 years it was, but this last year was in Dallas that I went. So,
Okay.
and again, back to the World Food Championship, you have to win your way to get there.
Right.
So, and then
You got to earn it, baby.
yeah, they just, it's not like I just want to sign up and do that. But so I met Brian and Darcy down there. They were one of the first couples or first people I met at the World Food Champ, and they were doing a cooking demo.
Okay.
And they've been on Hell's Kitchen. He did Ramsey did one of the ones where they brought people in. Oh, they called it the F word.
Okay.
They were on one of those. It was a one season thing, but you know,
Which Chef Ramsay says a lot.
yeah, and you know, so the first time I meet them, you know, they're doing a cooking demo, and she's just holding the knife with her finger on top of the blade, and it's just kind of a pet peeve of mine. It's like, you know, so when they got done, the information that they were giving was very good, but I go, you lost me when you don't know how to use a knife. So
Yo.
I give her a 5-minute class. I give both of them a 5-minute
Yeah.
class on how to use a chef knife. So speed up a couple years later, she's doing some cooking demos for Walmart,
Okay.
and she's doing basil chiffonade. And I mean, she just does it like a pro. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
out
buddy.
there. So I sent her a little message. Nice skills, chef. You know, and she's like, "Oh, I had a good teacher."
There you go, man.
But with that, I try not to make people feel like they're not doing it right. You know, like I'm being an ass.
That's the trick.
Yeah.
Is to get the information to them without making them feel like they're dumb.
Yeah,
Or
that's
I'm a jerk for telling you.
I'm trying to help you
Yes.
get to your next level.
Yes.
And so it used to be I would tell you to do something because I told you. And after doing that in my young days, you found out that wasn't a great way to be a good teacher, a good manager.
It's not sustainable.
No.
Right.
But as you go forward, I want you to do it this way because this is, not because I said so, because I want you to be better at it, or
a part of the process of, hey, we got to end up here, and I need you to do it this way so we can get here. So here you can see it now.
Exactly,
Yes.
because I've promised the guest that they're going to get this product, and this is how we get there.
Right.
This
is my best feeling and idea from my experience of how to get there.
Yep.
I need you to do these 3 things.
Yep.
And I'm going to show you how to do it, and this is why.
Exactly, because there's days when it's like they go, "Chef, how do you want that made?" And it's like, well, grab the recipe in the book up there. That's probably one of my worst flaws of not using a recipe. But at the club, I've gotten a little bit better.
Mine too, man.
I either grab the recipe and follow that recipe and make it that way.
Yep.
Or so we're making meatballs. I know the cook that I'm talking to, and I go, just make me some really great meatballs.
Right.
Or, but when I've given the client, this is what you're getting, then I get more technical on, I want it made like this, and these are the steps to follow because this is what they're getting.
This is the product that this client expects.
So it just depends on what we're doing. Right. It's depending on maybe the answer that I'm going to give them.
And the direction.
Because sometimes I want to see, I'm giving you a task to do. I want to see how you execute. Just with, I'm giving you open reins.
Dude.
Give me your best.
That's part of it. Of your teaching process of like, let me see what you do when you start to sweat. Let me see how you react to that.
Or when I give you free reign, when I say make it the best you can make it, and come back, and then we
riff off of that.
Oh, it's like those are awesome.
It's better than what I would have done.
Yeah, exactly. now I need you to write a recipe for that. And then so you get people more engaged. People taught me. I work with some really great chefs. I mean, the first real chef I worked with was Fred Riegel. He was an Austrian trained chef.
Okay.
And Fred's old school. You do it out of the cookbook every time. It has this name. That's the way it's made. Period.
Right.
I'm not a very good rule follower, so I've taken his work ethic and put it with
your style that
my style that I like to cook and how I like to cook. And
well, I think it's more being open-minded to, like what you were saying, of like with this person, this particular cook, with this particular client, with this particular recipe. It's like, all right, these 3 things add up to get where I want. Instead of, hey, here's the recipe and you do it like this every time.
Yep.
It's like you have to have those options.
Yep. You get more productivity out of the cooks.
Absolutely.
And then back to some of those other things, when I first started in the culinary field, I started cooking I started in the restaurants when I was 14 doing dishes, in a restaurant. And as any good dishwasher, you're not a dishwasher very long.
Right.
Pretty soon I'm prep cooking and so
working that fry station.
Yeah, and I, every Friday and Saturday night cooking.
I guess I'm a cook now.
150 pounds of fish. I know how to cook. I knew how to eat.
Yeah.
But so at the time, I had this old cook that he was a family friend, and Rob was short and heavy set guy, and he thought he'd make me these big burgers because I was a runner. Hell, I was 6 foot and $135, and I could eat like nobody's business.
Yep.
Well, he got bored doing that, so then he started to teach me how to cook. But as I was going along, even when I got into, my first sous chef position, people are going, "Oh, so you're a cook, huh?" It's like, I that's part of my job, but
right.
That's the whole management side and all these other things. But it wasn't until Food Network really got traction and really gave our industry street cred. You know, they're like, oh wow, you know,
Yeah,
you're
they
a
could see
chef,
it.
and you create these dishes, and they see how much work consomme is. It's not just broth. It's we call it liquid gold.
Yeah,
I
baby.
mean, because you got so much time into it. I can legitimately make you a stellar cream of tomato soup. By the time it gets hot, it's done.
Yep.
But got 6 hours into a consomme minimum.
Yep.
And you're trying to educate these people on why it's so expensive. So Food Network did a great job at putting us on the map, but it's a double-edged sword.
Right.
Because now you have all these people that think that they're chefs also, and not taking away anything from the groups that have their wine groups. Oh, we did a great dinner the other. Yeah, and you know, you had all day to make one dish for 6 people. You know, I mean,
That's awesome.
I mean,
good for you.
It is, you know,
But it's not the same as what we're doing.
it's not, but at least they understand how much work something goes in there, you know? So the club's been really good for me on that side to be able to showcase, because we do, you know, the club does so many different things. You know, you have your restaurants. We have, during summer, you have the pool, you have the tent tea, you have these other outside venues that are all going on, plus all your catering that you do. But wintertime, you know, we're doing, you know, chef's table.
Yep.
You know, it's so, you know, you had 8 people back in the kitchen. I go, this is what I want. I want them back here. I want them to see exactly how the dishes are made right in front of them. Yeah, I had most of it all prepped and ready, but
still.
I'm cooking right in front of, I mean, on the table. They're all sitting around,
Check out the process.
and they're just having just a stellar time.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
it's
That's why we have an open kitchen here.
Yep.
I want them to see it.
Yep.
I
you
want
know,
them to be
you're
a
not-
part of it. And-
there's no shortcuts.
No, right. This is there's no microwave, and there's no frozen stuff out of a bag right into the fryer. You know, and there's a place for that. And I love going to a bar and getting some chicken wings and playing pool tabs and having a beer.
Yep.
But when they're coming to this place, this is what this is.
Yep.
This is what you're paying for. This is why the price is what it is. And I want you to see all 4 of my cooks in my tiny little kitchen doing the dance
Yep.
and communicating.
Yep.
And that's infectious.
Oh, it's
man.
it's huge. It's huge.
You know?
I mean,
but here's the thing: you don't just get to have that. You know,
and I don't have the open kitchen concept at the club because that's not the way it's set up. But
when you're talking about doing the chef's table,
yeah,
that's right there, baby.
All the walls are taken down. They see what you're doing and stuff. So yeah, so the evolution from when I first started cooking, you know, a while ago, and seeing what, you know, what food has come into now, you know, and then, you know, we'll go into probably the biggest change that I've seen since I've gotten into the field has just been the allergens.
Oh, I can imagine.
I mean, you may have seen, you know, a nut allergy or a seafood allergy 35 years ago. I mean,
Rare and few between.
Yeah, vegan.
Yeah.
They were like a unicorn. There was one in the state. Everybody knew who they were, you know, and so, but you know, now, I mean,
our culture.
Even when you start talking about nut allergies, you know, we'll have a catering or a wedding or whatever it is. We have a nut allergy. The communication, you know, is huge. So you know that I'll pull everything off the menu that night because I don't want to accidentally kill somebody.
Oh my God, yeah, worst fear.
You know, because you know you feed Bob's wife a salad that had nuts in it, and she kisses Bob, and Bob goes into anaphylactic shock because she didn't know that it was in the dressing.
Right.
You know, so, you know, that's probably one of the other things that's the biggest thing is this the communication factor in any restaurant.
Yes.
Because if I don't know, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, you know, and you just go, okay, well, it'd have been nice if I would have known that, because I could have prevented that, you know. But then again, you know, you get in the middle of the event, and then you find out you have somebody that has
celiac.
And my mom's celiac, so I know all about gluten free. I mean,
Yep.
you know, she's been celiac for 15 years, so I learned about it before the wave hit, you know. So, you know, and it's gotten bigger. You know, I truly feel bad for the people that are true celiacs.
I know, right?
Because there's so many people. I'm gluten free and blah blah. Well, it's
they're
by
gluten-free
choice.
by choice, and then they
It's
say
different.
they're celiac so that you can feel like, you know, wow, I really have to protect my choice.
But you know,
there are people that do that with everything.
we've went through the menu I have right now. We're about 75-80% gluten free on the menu.
Right on.
And the other, I don't know, about 10% I can, as long as I know, I can make it gluten free.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
We'll feed you.
Yeah,
Come in.
yeah.
I'll give you some options. We're gonna get you fed.
And I
That's my
just
job
tell
as the
all of
chef.
them, you know, heads up before I knew that I had a gluten free person here. I have it ready. Nobody said anything.
Right.
It's like,
Communication.
yeah, where is that? Well, now we're 2 dishes in, and they finally tell,
It's as much as on the patron to communicate it.
Oh,
as well,
it is.
as it is on us.
It is.
Like,
I
man,
mean,
my favorite gluten-free story or celiac story is I worked at Pig at My Pizza with my brother in the cities, and it's an open thing, and we're throwing doughs and there's flour everywhere, and like I'm a celiac. I'm like, dude, you'd be in anaphylactic shock.
yeah,
right now.
if you just walking in the door.
Your throat would just close up right now if you were a real celiac, because there's flour everywhere.
Yeah,
you know,
it's, you know, and you know, back into all of the things, you know, as everything's progressed, you know, the clientele's different than it used to be. I mean, just throughout the business.
Yep.
I mean,
they're more informed,
which is a good thing.
They're more selective. They're more in just example with the COVID thing of having menus on the QR codes.
Oh.
And they they're just like, this is quick, this I can get this, and I'm on my phone because I'm on my phone all day anyway, and I get fed real quick, and then I'm out, And then the older crowd is like, we like to come in, we like to sit down, we like to be waited on, we like, and so. Yeah. But it's trending towards more of that, in my experience, that quick style of like, hey, technology in and out.
Yep,
efficiency.
There is that, but there's. We still have a group that, they want that service. They want the white tablecloth. They want the server to not only know them,
right?
And what they just
eat.
as they walk in the door, what they drink. They
go.
want that drink set and ready for them. But they want to be waited on different. So we're really working hard on because I think a huge group of service staff. They got pummeled hard in this thing. And then there was a big group of them that were at that point in their careers where they're like, I'm out. So we're rebuilding, really trying to rebuild the front of the front side. The service staff is,
just as important.
It's not throwing a menu at a guest and going, I'll be back in a minute for your order. I go, anybody can do that.
Yes.
I go, but what you're trying to do is you're trying to educate them on what we're doing here. You sat down at this restaurant.
This is our energy. We've been here all day doing this, and we want you to be a part of it. Here's the best way to be a part of it.
Yeah, and you have to educate them on what's grand, So I tell them, I go, well, you can not tell them what's on the menu that's awesome. They can order 2 sandwiches as their entrees, and a beer, and they spent $40. Or you can upsell them by knowing the menu of the 2 specials and a bottle of wine, and
Yep.
and pretty soon their bill's $1.20, and you made $30
Right.
as a tip.
Yep.
It's knowing your menu, knowing your clientele, knowing, so as you're going through,
And the people that come in with money, that's what they're paying for.
yeah,
Like,
they-
like, give me the goods. I'll pay for the goods.
Yeah.
I have money for the goods.
yeah, and that's again. So we're doing the whole change on the service side, trying to do all that, and then right into your point there, goods have been just, oh my God, they just insane on how much food prices have went up, and the inability to get the product.
Yep. To keep your menu.
It's like, so I send out whole newsletter to the membership. We're doing our best
Yes.
to keep what we can get in house, but I'm not cutting quality and buying some rando piece of meat just to put on the menu to keep the price down.
Here's some salmon from
Who knows where.
Indonesia.
That's been on a boat and
But I got it.
And here you go, and I'm
and
not
it's 80
proud of it.
It's $40.
Yeah, and so with that, we're doing our best to make sure that we have product
all you
in
can do,
house
man.
and everything, but it's much more challenging.
It gets
and
back to that communication
it's huge.
of telling your guests, like, hey, man, this is what's happening right
Yeah.
now.
So we're doing, we do weekly features as everybody else does. We kept our menus smaller.
Yep.
So, and it gets changed. I mean, we got a spring menu coming out actually next week,
Cool.
but halfway through that cycle, half of that menu is going to change, and what we're doing is, coming up before that, we're running features every week. Well, if those features make the cut, they make the menu.
Right.
So
To try out.
try them out, see how they go. When it comes down, my staff has already seen them.
Mm-hmm.
So the wait staff have already seen them. So when I roll the menu out, they've seen half of the menu. I'm only teaching the new items on half a menu.
That's a great way to get out in front of it.
And then we're always doing that.
Yep.
So the one big complaint that I've had is that, I haven't even, your features are so good, I haven't even able to try the menu. It's like, they're on the menu coming up, so you'll be good.
You'll be all right.
You'll be okay.
Yeah, we'll get you fed. Don't worry about it.
So
That's another thing, another point of I always tell people, you really cannot satisfy everybody. It's literally impossible to go 100%. And how diligent and how much you care and how much passion you have about it, and if you're in it for the right reasons, there's still going to be those people that it's just not lining up.
Yep.
And that's not their fault or your fault. It's just where you're both at that point in time.
It is, and those are the toughest ones to swallow because I joke that I'm not the meteorology chef. It's not 70% of you are going to get fed tonight.
Yeah.
You're all going to get fed.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. You're all going to get fed. Now, the percentage that comes in is you really push it up there and try to give everybody the best experience that you can.
Mm-hmm.
And just like you said, there's something that may drop in on them, and their steak accidentally got overcooked, or they wanted it cooked more,
Yep.
or the communication, what you think medium and I think medium are different.
Yep.
But since you ordered it medium and I sent it to you, but you really wanted medium rare, but
Yep.
you didn't,
You didn't maybe know what that was.
Yeah.
Or we're on the same page on
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So we're really working, again, back to training the wait staff. Of asking these questions and knowing these, and then communicating them to the kitchen, so the kitchen does exactly what you're looking for. It is.
There's so many scenarios, and it's just so, like, it was a great night except for this one thing.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
And okay, but for next time,
Yep.
we'll be aware of that.
Yeah. You're trying to touch that table, that had that, and say, hey, I heard you.
Yes.
At
Thank
least
you for-
you're fixing the fence before it tips over,
Right.
and so you don't have to rebuild it to get them to come back, because, that's what I feel, that a lot of it's just this building this relationship with these
Absolutely.
people, so
It's a trust.
they go, I trust going there, exactly, and that they're going to give me the best experience.
Yes.
Now, if your food's not good and your service is really good, they didn't have a good experience. If your food's really good and the service is bad, then they didn't have a good experience. You have to. It's both.
Yes.
I mean, it's as much as I want to, as a chef, go.
It's
all about the food.
It's my food. I know, man. It's
Yeah.
hard to get your ego out of the way.
Oh,
when
it is.
It's like, no, man, they're coming in here for what I'm doing. It's like, well, yes, and also,
Yep.
it's the whole package, man.
Yep.
So,
So we've been working really hard, and it's not front of the house, back of the house. It's the culinary team.
Yes.
And everybody's buying into that system, because that's what we're doing.
Yep.
That's what we're selling. And so we just had a big group meeting. The whole team. I go, sorry, it's taken me 6 months to have this with you guys, but you've seen what we've been working from the beginning, and you see the direction we're going, and this is why. We have summer coming up, pools opening, all these things we're really going to get busy, and we have to have all of our, everything in place. So when we pick up the 25 summer help, the summer kids that are coming in to help, that we stay in the same direction.
Yes.
You know.
And our base crew here has the information, knows where we're going, and can show our extra help that we need.
There you go. This is our standards. This is
Yeah,
where we're
man.
at, and this is how it goes, and this is how it works here.
And this is why.
Yeah. And
This
and
is why, and that's what everybody
yeah.
needs to know. That
It's that why.
It's-
you know. I mean,
this isn't just because this is a job and this is what you do. This is, you're being a part of this, and this is why we're doing it this way.
you know, and back to, you know, we're just trying to keep, you know, since culinary's gotten beat up so bad, and a lot of people under it, you get good help, and you're doing everything you can to get the next, you know, get the next one in and keep them in the thing. It's
Yeah.
not just
In the pipeline.
yeah, it's I got a couple that are, I don't want them to stay cooks. I want them to take that next level. I want to mentor them to be that, you know, that next one, you know. And the great thing, when I came to the club, it was there were two of the cooks there that knew who I was, so that really helped expedite, you know,
Getting to know you.
getting,
or how
yeah.
you
I mean,
go
they
about your
already
business, or
they weren't, you know, oh my God, we got a new chef, or
Yeah.
you know, blah. They're like, oh,
what did he mean by that?
you know, it's like, so he's, you know, so it's been a huge, you know,
Leg up.
well, it has, and you know, but I've also had to reach into the big bag of my tricks to
Yeah.
make sure that, you know, it's, and there are things I've learned, you know, and with, you know, one of the other things, back to having all those chef friends.
Yes.
You know, I haven't had to be the expert in everything, because I got friends that are experts. And I'm not too shy. I'll call you
Yeah, yeah.
and say, hey, you know, Matt, you know, I'm looking to do this, you know, and this is what I got laid out. What do you think? You know, and I'll have, you know, they're like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, you're on track
it's like,
there.
or maybe you want to add this and this component to that. And it's like, that sounds, you know,
yeah.
and pretty soon I went from having a good idea to having a great idea.
Yep.
But it's
Because you
know,
reached out.
I reached out. I don't have any culinary secrets. You want to know something, give me a call.
I'm
you
the
know?
same way, man.
You know, it's just like, you know, somebody showed me, and
Yep.
and I've learned a lot, you know, on my own, or went out and found things out, but I'm not an expert in all areas.
Right.
I do know a lot of things, but so
Yeah, you do.
yeah, so most of them won't do.
Well, that's
me
why
good.
I'm doing this podcast, man. It's the same exact reasons. It's like I'm I want to discuss these things. I want to have great discussions, but mostly I want to learn, because I've only been cooking for 10 years, and I have my little business and things that I'm growing, and my cooks and my staff that I'm trying to get to work together and be a team. And it's like, dude, these are the discussions that will help that move forward.
Without a doubt, and you have a big following, so I mean, just to get people aware, media's done huge things. If you know how to manipulate and play in the media things, I mean, people are willing to drive. I mean, it's not like you're on the main road, between two big cities, and you're the, they come here, it's a destination.
Yes.
And when they get here, you're giving them an experience that they drove, 60 miles to come and get, and they leave happy.
It's a very humble feeling of every time this place fills up, I'm so thankful that these people are here. And that's never lost on me. That is just like,
no, that's one of the things I really like about you, because you're so humble on all that stuff, and you're real. That's you and that's what I told them all when I got to the club. This is who's standing in front of you. That's who I am. Yep. I'm not smoke and mirrors. I'm not Jekyll and Hyde, or I'm not anything else. I'm here. I'm going to be here. This is my expectations. Yep. This is how we're going to get to the next thing. Give them a projection, and you just go for it. Yep.
I'm here for this reason. These are real truths to me, and I care. And I want you guys to get to that mindset as well.
Yep. I mean, it makes your job so much easier.
Oh my God, it's the best way. It's the like I was saying, it has a longevity of it. There's sustainability. Yep. And you want to be there.
So I was up judging actually with Tim McKee and that whole entourage up in Minneapolis. Yeah. So I was up judging a Pro Start one year, and so I think Care 11 or one of the TV stations were there, and they asked me if I'd talk to them, and so do you treat the kids like Ramsey does? I go, nah, I don't treat anybody like. I mean, that is for TV.
A lot of it's for show.
If you're running your kitchen that way, you probably are all alone in your kitchen, because there's nobody that's gonna tolerate that. So it was
There's 10,000 other restaurants I could go work at.
Oh, well, without a doubt.
Right. It's more for show. Yeah, we were doing a food huge dinner at a big hotel in the cities with my brother's restaurant. I forget the name of the hotel, but all the restaurants were there, and Tim McKee was there with La Belle, and we all had to share the kitchen, and there was like a corner would get clogged up because there was the only way in and out, and so you'd kind of have to wait for them to get their stuff in and out, and we're all done, and his sous chef, little guy, we're all waiting there, standing there, and he goes to the 4 cooks, and Tim McKee is standing there too, and he goes, okay, you go do this, and you get that, and you put that on the truck, and you do that, and he points at Chef Tim McKee, and he goes, and you go in there, and I'll do this, and we all kind of look at Chef, and he goes, how about you go do that, and I'll go over here. Like, yep.
you were good up to that point.
And that was like one of my first experiences, like, you handled that great, Chef, and it was entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at some of the chefs, and Tim McKee actually, put Minneapolis on the map as being a food destination. Absolutely. Place. The laundry list of incredible chefs that he brought up, and
my brother calls him one of the godfathers.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and
he's super humble and very talented. On again, one of my sous chefs worked for Tim, and he goes, "You remind me a lot of him and your work ethic, your kitchen persona."
That's high
and
praise.
It's like, well, I don't think I'm there, but whatever. I've been in the business a long time as just like Tim, but he's run so many more kitchens at different levels.
Yeah.
That's not where I was at.
But your persona in the kitchen as the chef, that is something to
and Aaron, he was pretty excited about working with me and stuff, because it's just like, hey, I want you to be the best. I want you to get to the point, take my job.
Yep.
I just want
you
to be able
do it better than I do.
Or when I'm not there, I literally, when I walk out the door, I do not worry about the place, because I know that they are going to do everything in the right way. And if for some reason something would come up, they either call me. I mean, that's just the great thing now, is that
right.
you're never really
You're
gone.
available.
Yeah, and it's just your choice if you're going to respond back to them.
Right.
But it's just sometimes they gotta make those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still my dime, but they're learning on it. And
That was one of the first things that was really taught to me or shown to me, is like, we want you to be better than us when you're done. And that was like, oh, I've never had a job like that.
Yeah,
That's never been something I've even thought about.
Yep.
Like where the boss wants you to take their job.
Yep.
And that was like this industry that wow, other people think like that.
Yep.
And that was cool.
I've had cooks that have come in. I mean, the industry. I mean, there's some people that have made some poor choices. And they've turned their life around. They're there.
Yep.
They're, how can I help? What can I do? What's the next thing that instead of I'm done with that job and they go and hide. No, they're like, what do you need done, chef?
Or they use it. I've seen it at my brother's restaurant where they just use it as a, I can put this on my resume to take that next step. I'm not really here to learn.
Yeah. I already know it.
Yeah, I already know
I
it.
mean, I work with some cooks like that. I want you to do it this way, and this is why. And they're like, but I've always done it this way, and this is why. It's like, but see, I'm in charge and you're not, and I really want. So they usually don't stay around.
Yeah, they don't usually last.
It's all about building this team and this. It's a lot easier to move it all when we all work together.
Yep.
I mean,
it's cliche, but it's that for a reason.
Yeah.
This is the way, dude. And if you're not in there, you're not going to last.
So, and just to be in your own, if you had your own place down here, Matt, and you just closed yourself off to the outside and just I'm doing it this way because it's my way and blah, 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 you wouldn't be here very long.
Nope.
No. Or you wouldn't be happy.
Right.
And so when I see on Facebook and you got the big smile and the guitar out, I go, Matt's pretty happy right there.
I'm in my element.
Yeah.
Man. I'm in my element. This is where I go.
Yeah.
This is where you can find me. I'm with my family and have my responsibilities there, but like I get to come here.
Yep.
I get to come here and do my thing.
And that's I see there, it makes me happy on the inside. They got young chefs coming up that are taking that passion and doing their own thing. I never stepped outside and did my own thing, on my own. I've always worked for somebody, always worked someplace, and it's been very good to me. Don't get me wrong, because it's but it's that next level, and at this point in my career, it'd be scary stepping outside that bubble that I've built,
Yeah.
But I do also know that that's a whole nother thing. I can't even speak on that because I never been in the own your own thing.
It is quite a heavy responsibility, because you are not only responsible for everything that comes in and goes out, but your employees, man.
Yeah,
like, that's always been my thing. Like that's wow, these people's lives, and that goes with you too. I mean, know that it's just being in a small town and keeping my cooks through the winter so that they have enough to get through the winter, and we can make money together
in the summer.
in the summertime.
Yep. That's where I'm at right now. We're slow, but I have to keep them employed because I know come April when that snow all melts off the course, and May when the pool opens up and the golf tournaments, everything rolls in. I mean, I have a full staff.
I need you.
I have a full staff, and I haven't lost a cook since I've started there.
That's right there. That's a testament.
I mean, so when they're other restaurants in town are
I gauge other restaurants by that.
Yeah.
How many people have you lost? Like, or the other chef or the rest,
Why?
the manager, like, why? Well,
Why
it's
are you going
because
through it?
they're not quitting them. They're quitting you.
Yeah.
That's why people quit. They quit the people that they don't want to work for.
Well, I mean, I see a lot of restaurants, their biggest struggles right now are they don't have help.
Yes.
But they're unwilling to change their menu.
Mm-hmm. Or their processes, or
you have a restaurant that has 60 items on their menu, and you're four cooks short. You can't sustain that. You have to make a change and go, okay, with shipping being the way it is and availability, it's like maybe we should just scale our menu down to 20 items. Give me my best 20.
Yep.
Give the customer 20 solid meals that you're giving instead of 60 choices for 60 items.
Take the best one out of each category.
And you're not being able to do 60 of them good at it anyway.
Right.
So they go, oh, we don't want to change our size of our menu. It's like,
then you're gonna die.
You're not.
Then you're not
succeeding.
gonna make it. Yeah. Adapt or die.
Yep. So I consulting sometimes is, I look at that and go, it'd be good. But then again, it's just like, there's some places that, the reason you're there is they don't want to change.
Because you don't want to listen to this.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to give you my advice, or, those things. So, it's like, no, I don't know if I want to play in that pool right now.
Yeah, right. little murky waters.
Yeah, I'll stay to what I can really do well too. So
I think that's a big part of it too, as far as you're talking about getting ahead of stuff and making that those decisions earlier, so that you don't run into the rocks when we get on the beach.
Yep.
A lot of that is what to get rid of. Of like, man, this system that was maybe good here.
Yep.
And it's been 6 months. It's not really. We gotta either tweak it. We gotta get rid of it. We gotta, change it. Like, a lot of it is like what to leave behind, right? What to burn off, because it's not serving you anymore.
Yeah. I mean, and technology is, if you can stay on that side, you're a young guys yet. So technology was much more,
I just turned 40, chef.
Yeah. Well, you're still. Oh God. Yeah, I've been doing this 42 years. So, but one of those things in school when I was going to school, computers were just barely starting to come on, and what was the guy going to do with typing?
Yes.
That was
different world.
a poor choice on my side.
get out in
I
front
struggled
of that
there
one.
pretty hard, but
Didn't get in front of that one.
No, I got run over by that. So, but just making sure like your computer system, just for checking in and checking out all your your menus and the costing and everything you can do on it, that you're on the right system.
Absolutely.
To make your time, because you're the chef, owner, head cook, and all of those things
guys,
together. You're all
psychiatrist.
you don't have all day to sit behind there and not have the right system that's not working for you.
It has to be already in place.
Yeah.
It has to just be like, that has to be something that's just happening, and I don't have time to deal with that every day.
No, not at all.
And you're right. The technology is it's a different world.
Yeah. So if you can get the people that know those things to be able to help you to get those implemented, so you're on the right system.
Yep.
Spend your dollars on the right system that's going to do everything for you, so you're not in the office for 8 hours or 10, 12 hours when you want to be in there for a couple hours, and then you're on the floor the rest of your day.
Yep.
So
or I'm creating the next menu, or I'm, putting in the new system for our catering, or
Yep.
it's just like, dude, my time and my effort and my energy
Yep. You want to make sure you're using the right tool.
needs to be where it should be, right?
So, you know, it was just one of those things when I was getting married, my father-in-law gave me some great advice. He goes, Tim, he goes, sometimes you need the right tool. And he reached in his pocket and pulled out his wallet. And that's sometimes the right tool.
Yeah.
But you don't mind paying for something if it's giving you all the benefit that it needs to. So, again,
Yeah.
you can be out, you know, overseeing to make sure that the cook didn't throw a $20 worth of beef in the trash because they
Your overall
overcooked it,
productivity
yep.
Absolutely.
And so
is worth
it
this
is.
amount of money.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
And you know, to
And
find
if you do it right, the money will come
it will.
every time.
Yep. You just got to make, you know, that you're not throwing money and throwing money and throwing money. You want to just here's what it is.
Because
and
you're going to
this is what
spend it anyway. It's going out the door, but wisely, how's it going to
Yep.
serve you best? Right.
And, you know, and it, again, your reputation is, you know, in town that people, you know, they're going to support a guy that's supporting their town. So, you know, so I've seen some of the restaurants, you know, in an area, maybe they're on a lake or something like that, and they support the people around the lake, you know. Maybe it's the Tuesday night that it's lake night, and, you know, I mean, you want them coming in during the week. You know, the Fridays and Saturdays you're going to get everybody else that are going to come out there, but those weeknights that they're open, that they're it's that secret special that, you know,
It's just for us.
it's just for them.
Yeah,
You're
man.
taking care of them,
Yeah.
you know, and then they take care of you, because then they
Absolutely.
get friends to come into town. Oh, we got to go down to Stell's and, you know, and
was-
support the restaurant. And,
It was such a, you know, because I'm not from a small town.
Nope.
But when we moved down here and opened this, my focus was so focused on just feeding this town of 1,000 people. I don't care about anybody else. This is our business. We're opening up in this town, and we're going to be a part of this for a long time. These people around here I need their support. I need their energy, and I need them to come in and say, this is our spot, you know. And it's grown into what it is now.
Yep.
Of being a
they're,
destination.
They're your salespeople, because
Absolutely.
they're like, oh, you got to come down here and try. I mean, we got the best restaurant around, you know.
the best marketing, man.
Yep, and you know, you can put up signs, you can spend money on advertising and all that other stuff, but if I tell you you need to go down there, and they go, oh, wow, that must really be good, because so-and-so told me that that's the best place to eat. So
That's how you know it's working too.
Oh.
When because I come out here and I mingle, I hang out.
Oh, you have
And
to.
when they tell me, Jake from the hardware store told me to come here,
Yep.
or my cousin, you know, came down for a graduation party and they ate here the night, and now they said it was the best meal or great experience. Like, that's it. Okay, it's working.
Yep.
That means the machine is running, and we're going the right direction.
Yep. You know, that's just one of the things, you know, as being the chef and as being the owner, you're more than just the one. You're back to your employees. You're their mother.
Oh man.
You know, I've taken that cook that's
Yep.
made some poor decisions and just been there for them to teach them and get them focused in the right direction.
So
and
they
going
can
that-
actually work through it.
Yeah.
Have
yeah.
a place to work through it, what they're going through, and then come out the other side. And it's like, there you go. That's what your dad should have showed you.
Yeah, I've had conversations with not just cooks, but, you know, service staff and everything, and going, you need to do this,
Yep.
and they have that open eye look, like nobody's ever told me that before. It's like, it's because nobody cared about you. You know, every place I've worked at, for the most part, we've always tried to have it's a family.
Yep.
You spend as much time with that group, probably as much as you do with your own family, or sometimes more. You're invested into them, and they're invested into you.
Yeah,
So, you know, I've been the dad for a long time, you know, where I give you that. Are you going to listen to the words I'm telling
Yes.
you, or do I got to put my foot?
Yes, like
You
a
know,
dad.
which one do you want?
Hey, man.
You know,
Either way.
and you know, and they look at you like, you know, you're invested into me. And it's like, yes, because I rely on your ability I rely on your, you coming to work and
Yeah.
actually giving a shit. I mean, I tell them, I go, if you all give just a little bit, at the end of the day, we have a big pile.
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking for.
That's it, man.
And it's just, it's it is fun watching some.
That's from the dishwashers
Oh,
up, man. And then it's just like, hey, mindset. Why are we here?
yeah.
Let's go.
How many dishwasher, I started off as a dishwasher, doing dishes. I mean,
Yep.
so I had one of the sales reps tell me, he goes, I'm nice to everybody when I walk in. He goes, do you know how many dishwashers that I've, been nice to over here? They're actually running the kitchen
Yes.
now.
Yes.
I mean, they got to that point. They worked their way up through the ranks, and that's a great thing with the culinary side. You can have a big culinary degree from CIA or
Yep. La Cordon Bleu.
yeah, Le Cordon Bleu or Johnson Well
Rest in
or
peace.
wherever Art Institute or whatever.
Yeah.
Or myself, I've worked my way up
But
through.
you don't need to have it.
No,
And that's
it's the ability. If
There's
you
an
have,
opportunity, man.
So
Yeah. I'm the same way.
No,
I just was helping my
It's a
brother out
little-
with his busy restaurant. The next thing I know, I'm like,
yeah,
don't think
I'm hooked.
I can't do anything else. Even if I wanted to, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah, I thought about things, and it's just like it'd all be food related anyway.
Right.
So it would be,
still in.
I
Just at a
can't
different-
get outside that bubble. My back's not strong enough to shovel dirt and all that other stuff anymore. So, but no, it's just a constant change. With all of the different things you're trying to look and forecast what things are going to be.
Yeah, staying out in front of it. That was, I think, the theme of this conversation, like that we really are vibing on, because it's just constant variables of different things that are coming up and happening that you have to maneuver. COVID is like, it just changed the whole landscape.
Yeah.
Of
I think what it did is really make it clearer.
Yes.
Yeah,
It distilled everything.
And things I'm looking at right now. I mean, there's still all the distribution. How many 16-ounce clear cups am I going to go through this summer?
Right. You gotta break it down.
And they don't.
And are those going to be available
And they're not
next month? No.
I mean,
Gloves, nitrile gloves, vitro gloves, latex gloves. Like, I got to use gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow, those are 3 times the price.
It's like
Maybe we'll use these ones. It's
We're
It
just
is
gonna,
that, where it's like, man.
especially when you're out in front and everybody can see what you're doing. I mean, but I'm old school. I mean, washing your hands and doing all that. But
finding where you can spend your money wisely
Yep.
in the environment that we're in, and leave behind some processes and different systems that are no longer valid. They don't play anymore.
yeah,
You know?
So it's been just I'm really hoping that banquets come back.
Yes.
I mean, at some point here, I think either people have gotten
think they
COVID, gotten vaccinated, or both.
Yep.
So I'm gonna try to gamble and go out there and look for that banquet shelf
Yes.
that we went this last year without.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad I didn't have that position because I had to cut other positions. But
right.
I'm just looking at
I
taking
think
that
it's gonna.
next step.
I think it's gonna bounce back. I really do.
And the guy that's ready for it is going to be, again, he's going to be leading the way and getting that next. What's the next trend that you can put out there?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that the health trend and the lighters and this and that. I mean, there's some of those things out there, but we're playing around doing
man.
some vegan stuff, and it almost hurts my pork inner, meat,
Right in the tenderloin,
carnivore.
huh?
Yeah, but it's actually making it really I mean, there's some fun stuff to do, and that's one of the things we're working on. I'm doing a plantain, quinoa, garbanzo bean mix that we're doing for some, some patties.
Yep.
There's some product out there that there's so much in it that I just can't buy into
Right.
it. Either we're making it homemade or I don't want to serve it.
Yeah.
I know that there's a group of, well, we like it because it has the texture of meat. It's like,
But there's a lot of additives and stuff that you
there's things
shouldn't be eating in that to make it feel like you're eating meat.
Yeah, well, it's like, why? Just eat meat.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, if you're really trying to do yourself any favor and you don't. So, but anyway, but we're playing around doing some fun stuff, and at the end of the day, making some really good food is what it's all about, and trying to.
And it's cool when you do that new different stuff too. When you're able to get over your own personal maybe whatever, and then it turns into something sometimes that, wow, I would have never thought that would happen.
Yeah, it's just that's one of the things. There's a few things I don't personally like.
Right.
I'm not an oyster guy.
Mm-hmm.
They're okay, but I'm not gonna walk across the street to go get oysters. But one of my Sues, I mean, he's big into I go, well, run raw bar. I go, I'm not big into goat cheese.
Yep.
It's not my thing. There's hundreds of other cheeses that I like. It's just goat just doesn't happen to trip my trigger. But yeah, we have it on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do a goat cheese beet sauce that's everybody
being able to
raves
get
about.
over that as a chef is like that's a skill.
Yeah.
To being able to let that go and
Yeah,
not be like,
it's-
well, my opinion because I don't like it.
I can still taste it, and I know it tastes good. It just doesn't do it for me,
Right. Yep.
But I'm not going to take it off my menu and not serve it just because my ego's that big.
Or come across as it's not for us.
So yeah,
Because I don't like
but
it.
Some of my other, they're like, this is the best stuff ever. I go, well, I know that I have members that will think that too.
Sure.
So it's like, make it good,
Yep.
make it, and so. One of the things I said, I don't need to have 11 quarterbacks on my team.
Right?
I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Everybody else has their positions that they play, and so the quarterback doesn't like, goat cheese and oysters. We're not gonna we're still gonna serve goat cheese and oyster just because one person
He doesn't
on the
like
team
throwing the
does.
screen pass, but it's still in the playbook.
It when it's there, you
we're gonna
take it.
Yeah.
Because
that's a good
that's
analogy,
what you
man.
because that's what you need to do.
Yes.
And
that's what's the trend is right now, or that's where it's
it's
we're gonna make our sales. or
Am
we're gonna,
I an expert at Mexican cuisine? No, but I have several cooks in my kitchen that are.
Yep.
And we try to do everything very authentically. Now, one cook is not happy when we do Mexican and we do it Americana, because you can order it that way. He's like, you don't put cheese on there, But hey, it's what it is, It's
It
what
is.
we do street tacos and we do Americana tacos,
Yep.
But the meat, the filling that we're doing in there is authentic.
Yep.
The toppings that when we do it are authentic.
Yep. We did it right here.
Yeah.
This is
And-
it's as American as taco salad.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, and sometimes we do some of that, and he just cringes.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's like, hey,
There's a place
I
for
gotta, it. If I'm not selling them, you can tell me that we're not going to do that. But when we're selling it and
Proof's in the pudding.
they like it because it's, not like I said, I'm not a very good rule follower, so we're not always 100% authentic. But when I look at it and go, well, we did an Italian dinner the other night. Well, I was in Italy back in October. I took a bunch of notes. I did it as authentic as I could get it, and people loved it, So it was a lot of fun, So to do a theme dinner, but if you're gonna call it a theme dinner, then you have to do your homework to make
Yes.
sure that you're not doing something that's not real.
Yes. put the work in.
Yep.
Be prepared.
So I was
You have your knees.
I was judging a contest in South Dakota, and they called it a Raging Cajun pasta dish. And at the time when I was first doing the Taste of Elegance, they had a national contest. So the winner of the state would go to the national.
Okay.
Well, Paul Perdome was actually a judge one year.
Nice.
And so
he knows a little bit about Cajun.
Oh yeah, and so I tell this cook,
invented
I tell this cook, I go, you can't make it Minnesota, South Dakota, Iowa version Cajun, and call it Cajun.
Right.
If you're going to do that, you legitimately have to do your homework.
Yeah.
You get the techniques and everything to make it authentic.
Yes.
There was nothing in this that was Ragin, and there was nothing in this that was Cajun other than your thought process on it. So when I do contests across the country, I look where I'm going, and I do my homework to make sure when I go to Texas, I make my paella in Texas spicier than I make it when I'm here.
Right.
That's where I'm going.
You
I'm
just
bringing.
just use black pepper.
No, or the spicy sauce ketchup.
Yeah.
No. I truly, that's just one of the things. So if you're going to go there, because
this is what they're looking for.
Yeah, I tell everybody, your grandma's a better chef than I am all day long, especially when it's something that you make my grandma's, coleslaw or whatever.
Yep.
I can't do that. You already know exactly what grandma made. You have you're ingrained in your head. Mm-hmm. So if you're going someplace and you're going to make food that they're known for, you better know what you're doing.
Just to compete.
Yeah.
Just to be in the same conversation.
Yeah.
You better have.
Oh yeah, that's
an idea.
That's not it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you might as well just make something totally different and go in a different way because
that's not what we're looking for.
No.
Yeah,
no. And so you always want to put thought into the dishes that you're building, and it's not just into the dish, but in the whole concept. So I got to the club and they're like, we haven't had a menu change in 15 months. When's the new menu coming? I go, it's just not that easy.
Right.
I just can't write down a menu and implement it tomorrow. I mean, there's all these other components to go to it. You have to have, the recipes for each item. You have to have training for each item. I mean, you have to have. It's not like
I got to know what these people can do already.
Yeah.
Before I throw like a whole new concept at them.
Yeah. And so it took me about 6 weeks to get a menu put together, and the first menu was okay, but our two menus we've had since then have gotten better.
Your pics on Facebook have been fire, man.
Yeah,
like,
we try to do some fun
good,
stuff, and then we have these wine tastings and stuff that we're doing,
but that's what you're talking about. That's our discussion of like, if you have people that something that they don't have that they want, and I want you to do it for me. It's like there's a lot more to it.
It is.
I can get you there.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna do my best, but you need to understand. It's not just this isn't the Food Network. No. This isn't just a TV show.
Yeah, I can't reach under the counter and pull out the done dish.
Right,
I mean, it just doesn't happen.
This is
that
a process.
Yep.
Especially if you're going to change. There's a lot more components, as you were saying, and I think being truthful and being real, as you're coming across in how you educate them. This is the process. This is why. And then after your first menu came out, like, oh. I get what he's saying.
Yep.
And then you build it off of that. But it's a big part of that communication of like, yeah, man, I wish I could do that.
Yeah. I mean, if I had all the answers, I probably wouldn't be standing here. I'd be somewhere else.
Exactly.
But when you go through and do it, and then you educate, we're not only educating our staff, but we're educating what we can produce at the Rochester Golf Country Club on a consistent basis, and we keep throwing nuggets out there.
Yeah,
what are you looking for? And you're biting on this, so we go down that trail for a little bit. But I just always tell them, I don't want you to get bored with what we're doing, and it's not as much as the membership is just as much in the kitchen.
Absolutely.
We don't want to get bored.
Absolutely.
Because it's easy to sit back and go, yep, here's our menu. We're all
It'll
done
run
with
itself.
that, and it'll do it, and then you go, well, where is why aren't my cooks coming to work, or why is well, they're not learning anything new.
Yep.
They got bored. They
Yep.
they got an offer to go somewhere else where
They can-
they can learn more.
Yep,
It's like,
take steps.
yeah. So it's this huge quagmire ball that we're all juggling all the time to, how what works best, and
man.
things that you thought were, oh yeah, this is stellar. It's like, now we're on to the next thing.
It was.
And it was.
And
at
it was
the time.
great. And we'll remember that, and we have that in our playbook for
Yep.
if we need
Oh,
that
yeah.
play again.
Oh yeah. And,
But,
and you reach back in and you readjust it
Yes.
and brought some things
I took
back.
two little parts of that
Yeah.
and put it over here because, man, that's what I learned.
Yep.
But the rest, we'll keep there.
it's okay for right now,
Yeah.
and so I was up doing a demo up in the cities this summer at the Hennepin Technical College. We had a Midwest Pork Summit up there, and the chef up there, he's like, you got to come over here. I got something to show you.
Yeah.
So he brings me back into his office, and they had menus from 1984 from the Rochester Golf and Country Club.
Yo.
Which was, that was back when you were multi-page.
Yeah,
and,
buddy.
they were just, old.
Check out this novel.
Oh, yeah. They had, they had all kinds of, they had,
Duck à la Orange.
oh, yeah. Oh, they had all kinds of old school dishes on
Yep.
there. And, but, they were also doing, liver and onions was on there, which was, it was on every steakhouse menu in the Midwest, but they had all. It was just very interesting on
Nostalgia.
how massive it was. So we're gonna do an old school throwback one night coming up, where we're gonna
Cool.
do a, say homage to the old menu and
Club.
putting something together for them. Just trying to, this is where it was. The club's been around since 1916, so it just happens to be he had one from one
It's
section.
cool you have stuff to bring back.
Yeah,
and
I know we have some members that have been there probably that long,
Yeah.
but it's not everything that you're wanting to do, but it's fun stuff.
Yep.
If you market it, you sell it, and this is the way the menu read, and then you put new
People
new
dig
plate
that too, man. They
plate
dig-
presentation stuff,
Yeah.
and bring it into 2022 and see what food has actually changed a little bit on the one side. I always say I've never invented anything that hasn't been made before. I've just put my name on it.
Yep.
and put the dish together or something. So it's been fun. It is it's definitely not a career that I can ever say I've been bored at. So
There's a lot to say about that, right?
if
There's
you're
something.
bored in the culinary field, then you should probably get out,
This
because
probably
there is
isn't for you, and that's okay.
Yeah. Oh, and it is.
Yep.
There's
You kind of can see that a lot. I can imagine you being in it for so long, but for me, it's just like, yeah, it's probably when you get new people in, it's like maybe it'll last the season, maybe be here for the season, but I don't see this being something.
I ran into some cooks that I worked with years ago. They're not in the field anymore. They didn't make the adjustments to keep learning.
Right.
They got to the point where they're like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and then something else came along that they could make more money at, that they were better at, or it's just like, either it's in your heart or it's not.
Amen.
But yeah, it's been a good run. It's I don't see it stopping anytime soon.
I don't see it either, man.
So
I feel you, like you're going. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for this new thing. I'm excited to come eat and hang out and collaborate and do some pork competitions and
there's a lot of that going on. I'm doing first time doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Was super excited that I was going to be your first time. So
Well, I appreciate it, man. You coming down. I think this is a good place to stop and
Yep.
and put a pin in it there. And we're gonna have you, hopefully, have you come back and just keep the
anytime, anything you need, man. It's always a pleasure. So
Right on, brother.
you bet.
Thank you, Chef.
You bet. Thanks.
All right.
We're gonna talk about this restaurant life. So let's get into it tonight. It's a blessing as well as strife. So grab your fork and get your knife. 'Cause there's so much more to this restaurant life. Yeah, there's so much more to this restaurant life. So much more to this restaurant life.